Welcome to your 2019 open enrollment presentation for American HOWA Kentucky. My name is Julie Martin. I'm from Assured Partners, and we're your insurance broker. We work with your human resources team to make sure that you are getting a comprehensive benefits package. Jumping right in with your medical benefits, both plans are remaining the same and you are staying with Anthem. So you have the choice of the traditional PPO plan. It's $1,000 deductible for single, $2,000 deductible for family. The out-of-pocket, which includes that deductible, $4,000, $8,000. Your coinsurance is 20%. All preventive care is covered at 100%. You have copays for the office visit. So when you go see your primary care doctor, it's $25. When you see a specialist, $40. The emergency room is a $250 copay plus 20% coinsurance. We want you to use the emergency room in the event of an emergency only. So if you feel you're going to lose life or limb, please go to the ER. But if you have a scratchy throat or a runny nose, you may want to utilize an avenue like an urgent care center, which is a $75 copay, or your primary care doctor, which is, again, that $25 copay. The emergency room is expensive for you. It's also expensive for the plan. Your average emergency room visit is around $1,500. So we want to make sure that you're going for the appropriate thing. So I always tell folks, if your bone is sticking out of your arm or you have chest pain, go to the ER. Anything else, urgent care or primary care doctor. Prescription drugs on this plan are broken up into 4 different tiers. Tier 1, which are generic drugs, $10 copay. Tier 2, which is a preferred brand copay, $35. Tier 3, $55 copay. Tier 4 is a specialty drug. You'll pay a 25% copay up to $200. You can also get a 90-day supply of your prescription mail ordered to your home. So for Tier 1, that same $10 copay. For Tier 2, $88. Tier 3, $138. And Tier 4, that same 25% up to $200. You also have the choice of your high deductible plan that you can pair with the HSA. So that plan is a $2,700 deductible for single, $5,200 for family. The out-of-pocket limit, which includes that deductible, $3,500 single, $7,000 family. On this plan, you'll see that there are no copays. So everything you do, with the exception of preventive care, which is covered at 100%, goes towards your deductible. So if you go to the doctor's office, you pay the allowed charge. If you have a prescription drug, you will pay the allowed charge for that drug. So for example, say your doctor charges $150 for an office visit, but they are in network with Anthem. So that means they agreed to a lower fee schedule for Anthem members. So say that's $75. So you would pay that $75 charge and it would go toward your deductible and out-of-pocket limit. Once you hit the deductible, you see that it's 0% for all other services. So office visit, emergency room, urgent care. That's when your copays on the prescription drugs kick in. So you will pay an additional $800 in copays until you reach that $3,500 out-of-pocket limit, and then everything will be paid at 100%. Just a reminder, you are on a calendar year deductible, so it runs January 1st through December 31st. Any amount that you've met toward your deductible or out-of-pocket limit through February the 28th is going to be carried forward to the new plan that you select. So say you're currently on the PPO and you're considering a move to the high deductible plan. Anything you've met toward the deductible or out of pocket is going to be carried forward. So you're not going to start over at 0. Anything that you've met is going to be carried forward. Just a reminder on preventive care, it's covered at 100% on both plans. And preventive care is things like immunizations for your children, flu shots, shingles vaccinations for those over age 60, any well woman checkups that include pap smears, mammograms, well child checkups, blood pressure tests, cholesterol tests, colonoscopies for those over age 50. Those are all covered at 100%. Just a reminder that your provider does have to bill the claim as preventive. So say you are having some, issues, stomach issues, and your doctor says, oh, we really need to do a colonoscopy to get those things checked out. Even if you're over age 50, they are diagnosing an issue. You're not getting that test just because it's time. You're getting that test because there's an issue. And in that case, it would be subject to your deductible and out-of-pocket. If you're going just because it's time, then it's covered at 100%. Just a little bit of education about HSAs. And I warn you guys, there are lots of acronyms on this page. So HSAs are used in conjunction with high deductible health plans, or what we call HDHPs. So that's your second option. A health savings account is an account owned by you, the employee, used to pay for current and future medical expenses. There's no use it or lose it rule like a flexible spending account. All amounts in the HSA are fully vested, so it means you don't have to wait for them to become more money than they really are. If you put $50 in there, it's $50 now, in a year, in 3 years. Unspent balances in the accounts will remain into the account until they're spent, so it rolls over from year to year. So say you put $1,000 into the account, you have a good year health-wise, all you have from a claim perspective is preventive care, so no money's coming out of that account. That $1,000 would continue on to the next plan year and just continue to build. And because it's your money, it encourages you, the account holder, to shop around for the best value for your healthcare dollar. Should the HSA account holder keep receipts? And the answer to that is a big, bold yes. You may need to prove to the IRS that distributions for the HSA were for medical expenses and not otherwise reimbursed. You may be required by the insurance company to prove that the deductible was met. And not all expenses paid out of the HSA have to be charged against your medical deductible. So what that means, your HSA account can be used for medical, dental, or vision expenses. Only your medical expenses are going to go toward your medical deductible and out-of-pocket. So say you use $250 of your HSA money at the eye doctor, that $250 is not going to go towards your medical deductible. I always tell folks that they need to have a system for this, either a high-tech system or a low-tech system. Some people like to scan all of their receipts and EOBs into folders and keep them on their computer. I prefer a more low-tech method. I get a big manila folder with a metal clasp, and I write 2019 HSA. And every time I use my HSA card to pick up a prescription or pay for a medical service, or I get an explanation of benefits from my health insurance carrier, I put that in the envelope. At the end of the year, I seal that envelope. When I file my taxes, I attach it to my tax return. And in the event I'm ever audited and they say to me, Mrs. Martin, can you prove that these distributions from your HSA were for qualified medical expenses, I can hand them that envelope and say yes. If you don't have what we call substantiation or proof that those dollars spent were for medical claims, they can tax that money as income and then slap you with a 20% penalty. So whatever type of system that you want to use, I just recommend that you have one. You pick it and you stick with it so you could prove those were for medical expenses in the event of an audit. Who's eligible for an HSA? You must be covered by a high deductible health plan, so you can't be on the PPO. You can't be covered by another health insurance, including a medical FSA. You can't be enrolled in Medicare, and you can't be claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax return. There are some limits on how much money you can put in your HSA account. There are no limits on how high the balance can be. So for 2019, for single, the maximum contribution is $3,500. For family, it's $7,000. For those age 55 and older, you can put an additional $1,000 catch-up contribution into the account. And for all employees electing the health savings account medical option, AHK will contribute $500 for single and $1,000 for all other tiers. So they will help you fund that deductible. Your dental plan benefits are remaining exactly the same, remaining with Anthem. Your deductible is $50 for single, $150 for family. Your annual plan maximum per covered member on the plan is $1,500. There are no waiting periods. Preventive services like your periodic oral exams, teeth cleanings, bite wean x-rays, covered at 100%, not subject to the deductible. Your basic services, things like root canals, periodontics, simple fillings, simple extractions, those are subject to the deductible, and then the plan covers them at 80%. And then major services, things like crowns, prosthodontics, dentures, bridges, dental implants, prosthetic repairs, oral surgeries, those are subject to the deductible and then covered at 50%. There is orthodontia available for children up to age 19 only. It's covered at 50% and gives you a $1,000 lifetime maximum benefit. Just a note that if a dentist is not participating in the Anthem network, they may balance bill. So to avoid this, make sure that you visit anthem.com and make sure your provider is in network. Up next is the vision plan remaining with Anthem. You can get a routine eye exam every 12 months, and it's covered at a $20 copay. You can get frames every 24 months. You get a $130 allowance for those frames, and then 20% off any remaining balance. So say you like a pair of frames that's $200, Anthem is going to give you $130 toward those, and then 20% off that remaining $70 balance. You can also get lenses for your glasses every 12 months. And the copays, you can see there's a $20 copay for your standard plastic single vision, lined bifocal, and lined trifocal lenses. For any enhancements, you get transition lenses, standard polycarbonate, and factory scratch coating covered at 100% for your children under age 19. There are some copays that are associated with transitions, polycarbonate lenses, and scratch-resistant coatings for adults, as well as any anti-glare or anti-reflective coatings. Or you can choose to get your contact lenses with your vision benefit. So it's glasses or contacts, not both. The thing that's nice about vision is that providers have real-time access to those benefits, so they can tell you exactly how much everything is going to cost while you're right there. I wear my contact lenses every day, so I choose to use my vision benefit for my contacts, but my provider does run it for me both ways to see which would be best for me. So if you choose to get contact lenses, you get that same $130 allowance. And if you get those conventional contacts, you get 15% off the remaining balance. If you have disposable contacts, which most of us do, you get that $130 allowance. And then if you have non-elective contact lenses, which means your vision cannot be corrected with glasses, it can only be corrected with contacts, then those would be covered in full. Whatever you choose to do, if you choose to get contact lenses, I recommend exhausting that $130 allowance all at once. Just like the lenses, it's a once per year benefit, and we want to make sure that you're using all of it. These are benefits that you're helping pay the cost of, so we want to make sure you get the most bang for your buck. I like to get a year's supply of contacts all at once, so that way I know that I have exhausted that allowance and I don't have to make trips back and forth to the eye doctor. So the thing that's nice about vision, like I said before, they do have real-time access to that pricing, so they will be able to tell you exactly how much it's going to cost. All your benefits are in a package, so whatever tier that you choose for medical, you'll have that same tier for dental and vision as well. So for PPO, for employee only, it's $34.18. For employee plus spouse, $74.78. For employee plus children, $65.38. For family coverage, $109.32. For the HSA plan, $30.61 for employee only, $66.93 for employee plus spouse, $58.61 for employee and children, and $97.91 for family coverage. These rates are per paycheck. And just a reminder that employees that elect the health savings account option, AHK will be contributing $500 for single and $1,000 for all other tiers. You are also able to contribute additional funds to that HSA account. Moving on to life and AD&D, or accidental death and dismemberment, AHK provides full-time employees with basic employer paid life of $40,000. This is provided at no cost to you, and it's through Anthem. In addition to the employer paid basic life, you also have access to elect voluntary life and AD&D, and it's provided through One America. So if you're a new hire, this is the first time you've ever been offered voluntary life, you get a guaranteed issue, which means no medical questions asked, of $150,000 for yourself, $50,000 for your spouse, and $10,000 for any dependent child. Current participants, you can increase your coverage amount by $10,000 with no questions asked. And if you want to get coverage for your spouse, or your child, you must elect coverage on yourself, and it can't exceed more than 50% of your amount. So what that means, if you want $10,000 on your child, you have to have at least $20,000 on yourself. If you've never elected coverage in the past, we will need you to fill out an evidence of insurability form, which we call an EOI. And what that does, you fill out your personal information, you answer some questions. That information is reviewed by One America, and then they choose whether or not to issue the coverage based on the answers to your health questions. So you also see that there's an accidental death and dismemberment benefit on this, and that's equal to whatever life insurance amount that you choose. So if you choose $100,000 in voluntary life, you automatically get $100,000 in AD&D. So say you pass away in some type of accident, $100,000 in life is paid to your beneficiary, as well as $100,000 in accidental death and dismemberment. You also have the opportunity to purchase voluntary short-term disability. This gives employees basically paycheck insurance. So if you become injured or ill due to an accident or a covered sickness, replacement income is available. So we call this paycheck insurance. So what it does, if you are injured or you are sick and you're unable to work, the elimination period is 14 days, and that's 14 calendar days, not 14 working days. And the maximum benefit duration is 24 weeks. The benefit percentage, it pays you 60% of your weekly income up to $1,000 per week. It covers maternity benefits as long as you've been on the plan for 1 year. So this is what we refer to as paycheck insurance. And if you've never signed up before and you're interested in short-term disability now, you can sign up with no medical questions asked. So the coverage is guaranteed, but you do have what we call a pre-existing exclusion period. So if you are sick or you become ill or you need to have some type of surgery, they will do a look back. Same thing with maternity. There's also voluntary long-term disability. So say that you are sick and it has been 24 weeks and you're still not ready to come back to work, that's when long-term disability would kick in. So it gives you 60% of your monthly salary up to $5,000 per month. The elimination period is 180 days, so it picks up when that short-term disability ends, and the maximum benefit duration is your Social Security normal retirement age. So for some of us, it's 65, 66, 67. For some young people, it might already be up to 68. So it lasts as long as you meet the definition of disability until those ages. This too is guarantee issue if you have never had it in the past, this open enrollment. Moving on to your supplemental insurance benefits. These are all offered through AFLAC. The first one is accident insurance. So on the accident, it covers hospital admission, hospital confinement. It pays an intensive care benefit. It pays medical fees for each accident. It also has an accidental death and dismemberment benefit. There are benefits for major injuries, things like fractures or dislocations. And then it pays a benefit amount for ruptured discs, concussions, cuts that are repaired with stitches. Any accident you could think of, AFLAC has a dollar amount that is assigned to that, and it will be paid out to you. There's also a lump sum critical illness product that's offered. In what this is, a lump sum of either $10,000 or $20,000 is paid directly to you upon diagnosis of having had a critical illness event. Your dependent children are covered at no additional cost. There's also a subsequent critical illness event benefit with no lifetime max. There are no deductibles, co-payments, or network restrictions. You choose your own medical providers. Critical illness events that are covered by this plan include cancer, coma, end-stage renal failure, heart attack, major human organ transplant, paralysis, or stroke. On all of these plans, any funds that you collect from the AFLAC plans are paid directly to you, and then you can choose how to use those funds. You can help pay your deductible or out-of-pocket expenses. You can pay your mortgage or rent. You can pay groceries. You could even take a trip to Disney World. The funds are yours to do with what you see fit. Just a reminder that you must keep your elections in place for the entire plan year, which runs March 1st through February 28th, unless you have a qualified status change, which could include a marriage or divorce, a birth or adoption of a child, becoming newly eligible for Medicare, or a change in your dependent's employment that affects his or her benefits. So if you have any of these things, if these happen to you, your spouse, or a dependent child, make sure to go see HR and get those changes made within 31 days. If you wait longer than 31 days, you'll have to wait till next year at open enrollment. The next steps, review your 2019 benefit statement. So after you hear this presentation, you're going to be getting a statement of the benefits that you currently have. Are you satisfied with the plans that you have, or do you want to make a change? You can discuss these options with your family. Please note that any changes on the enrollment form, so say that you're on the HSA and you want to move to the PPO, note those changes and please turn them into your HR team no later than January 1st, 2019. If you're enrolling in the HSA plan, we do need you to complete an HSA election form. If you are enrolling in voluntary life for the first time, we need you to fill out an E of I. And open enrollment time is always a great time to review your beneficiary information. So say that you've had a life change this year, you've gotten married, you've gotten divorced, you've had a child. You want to make sure that your beneficiaries update who you would want those funds to go to in the event of your death at this point in your life. All too often we see beneficiary information not updated and the funds go to someone who's no longer in that employee's life. So make sure you update your beneficiary information to make sure those funds go to the right person. Just a reminder that the elected benefits will go into effect on March 1st. Keep an eye out for ID cards. You will be receiving new ID cards from Anthem. And I want to thank you guys so much for your time today. If you have any questions, feel free to see your HR team and we can get those addressed for you. Thank you so much.